Hey James.
Hi there, sorry I'm a touch late.
No problem at all. I just got my microphone working. Um, I put you into groups now, so you've got your groups. I think I'm just going to open it up. Share. Sent. Where are we? Presentations. Okay, so Chris, James, Ashley, Jared are together working on children. Clifton, John, Laura, and Reza, you're together working on intellectual disabilities. I actually don't mind if you change your mind about your target population after you've contacted each other. Um, so feel free to do that. The other thing that I do want you to be aware of is I've put you in a communication thread with me involved. So just in case, and this happens quite often, a group member goes missing, I can see that. Rather than you coming to tell me right before it's due, we actually haven't heard from Nathan. Are we cool with that? Okay.
Yep.
So what I encourage you to do is feed off the first email that I have written and to contact your group members, make sure you're all comfortable with what you're doing, allocate the 4 points between you, and start working on your individual part of it. Okay? Cool. All right. Let's go with the week. So we're week 4 content, week 5 lecture, correct? Yes. All right. Okay, so you have to talk to me for this one, guys. With a quiz, has your quiz already opened?
Yes, it's almost closed, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Did you get the opportunity to do it?
Yeah, I did
Yes.
mine over the weekend.
Okay. So I guess you had the lecture content. Okay. All right, cool. I just didn't want the lag to be a problem. So you should have your results by now, I think, or it depends what time I closed it for you guys. All right, so the first activity was the matching one. So you got to match the different scenarios. How did you go with this?
Um,
Oh, I'll just read it out. And then you tell me the answers. Guys, don't put your phone on mute. You may as well stay with me on this. Okay, so Nathan's a regular runner and has been for the past 4 years. He enjoys running as it keeps him toned and it's a good escape for him. Oh, you've feedback already about this, haven't you? There's probably no reason to go through that. You get the answers automatically for that. But what I wanted you to do is just to explore the different stages of change that individuals go through. And what's the profession that you guys, is it coaching? Anybody want to be a personal trainer? Okay. All right. So for some of the PTs and strength and conditioning coaches that I'm working with now, this is a really big area for them to understand the stage of change that the individual's at. And what's important about that and what's really vital is that if you're working with that population and somebody's in the preparation stage, you need to know what are the most appropriate activities or strategies that you can put in place to help them move to the next stage. And that's what I really wanted you guys to get your head around, and that's what I found very useful as a psychologist, is to go, where's their headspace, what stage are they in, and what are the most appropriate strategies that I should be implementing right now. So I think I have a activity for you to do. We're cool with the matching one. You would have got the answers for that one, correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah.
Okay. Whoops. Week 4. Where's the other one? Okay, so it's within the workbook. All right, so the first thing that I wanted to do, and this is what I was just highlighting before, is trying to understand some strategies that you could implement so that you can push them to the next level. So based on what you know about the pre-contemplation stage, what would be an appropriate strategy that you could implement to help move them to the contemplation stage?
Sorry, so I put
me.
so I put you could help them like see the benefits of exercise and explain the consequences of their inactivity,
Awesome.
like possible
Education.
health concerns in the
First
future.
thing. Well done. What else could you do?
Sorry, I'm just falling a touch behind you. The other thing was just ask a few questions sort of around where they are at the moment and where they want to be as a person or as an athlete or as a whatever. And just, you know, there's no point just sitting there and saying, I'd love to be 20 kilos lighter, for example. You know, that you just need that person to get you to the next level. So just asking a few questions of where they want to get to, and then get them from there to the next step to help them get there.
Yeah, cool. Let me just get earphones because I can't hear you guys all that clearly. Hang on. Hopefully this works better. Okay, guys, can you hear me? Can one of you talk for me?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Still not loud. Just wait one sec. Hey, Trev, could you use this today? I can't hear you. Yeah, I've got the students on, but I just can't hear them that well. I've plugged it in the microphone as well. But, hey guys, can you take your microphone off? One of you?
Yep.
Hey Chris, speak.
Hello. Can you hear me?
And it's not even though I plugged this in, it's not. Oh, that's better. Look at you. Thank you.
Speak now.
This is Trevor, guys. You probably meet him eventually.
I'm the smart
Coaching.
one. I'm the smart one. She does voodoo science.
Get out. Thank you, man. All right.
You know, I just started pushing buttons and that came up, so I don't know how.
Cheers. Oh, control room. All right. Learn something new every day. Yeah, cool. And on that, James, I think it's more important as well to find the trigger. You've got to find that one thing that makes them go, I need to start exercising. So whether it's, do you want to be there when your grandkid's 18, like, you know, you're not gonna be there if you continue your behaviour.
Yeah.
Okay, so then let's look at if your individual is in the pre-contemplation stage. So here they're thinking about starting, but they're not going to do it until 6 months' time. So what would you do for them in that stage?
If they're committed to, if you don't have to worry about convincing them, so if they're committed to doing it but starting at a later date, probably setting up a plan of how they're going to do it. Obviously, baby steps first, and yeah, sort of drawing up a plan to make every mini goal achievable to help them get towards their major goal.
Yeah, and the goal for now is just how do we get you started? Like, how do we get you in the mind frame and feel comfortable with a program? So it's just about doing that pre-planning stuff. And again, you just got to keep highlighting the benefits of being physically active, the consequences, and just keep pushing them. The decisional balance sheet will come in well in this. So you'll see, I'll just put it up for you. A really useful tool for people in this industry. Where's my workbook? Is the decisional balance. This is a bit complicated. I mean, I would just use the pros and cons. I'll say, what are the benefits of you exercising and what do you lose from exercising, and come up with a list. This just has a look at gains to self, losses to self. I guess my question to you is, I mean, do you think this is effective, and would you use it? And what stage do you think you'd use it in?
I'd probably use, like you said, a similar but simpler version, more basic version than that. When probably in the stage where you're sort of about to design the plan, but you want to know what they're trying to get out of it and how to tailor it to suit them. So there's, obviously there's no plan suits everyone. So around that sort of planning stage where you go through that sheet, but I would keep it really simple, because on the other side of the coin, they want it to be simple. And if you're going through a list of 8 different boxes, that can confuse them, and then all of a sudden they can lose enjoyment very, very quickly. So a simplified version, but yeah, around that stage where you're about to plan what they're about to do, so you can sort of tailor it to suit, their personality in effect. Yep, good. Chris, have you got any other suggestions about that?
Well, for the decision balance sheet, I thought you could probably also use it in the pre-contemplation, just to sort of, if they can't see the benefits of the exercise, just to be like, well, look, here's the pros that you've listed, and here's, the negatives, like your inevitable death or heart failure or issues like that. There's almost like a motivator to sort of blatantly put why they should be doing it there.
Yeah, that could be your educational tool. So let's talk about the pros and cons, and what you have to do, particularly in the pre-contemplation stage, is to fill in the pro column. Fill that in. It'll be all the reasons why it would be bad to exercise, and the losses they have to themselves, like time from family, too fatigued, all those kind of areas. The other good thing about that, Chris, is it gives you a really good, clear outlook on their mindset. So where they're at, why aren't they moving to the next stage, and that's going to allow you to do it. So it is useful for majority of the stages. So when pre-contemplation and contemplation stage, your cons outweigh the pros, and as we get to the action stage, then it's pretty much even, and then we tick. So once you go to termination, you're out of the behaviour change model, you've changed behaviour, you've adopted, it no longer requires changing because you've already adopted that. Okay, good. So we did pre-contemplation. Again, you might want to find a new trigger, because now they're understanding, hey, I want to exercise, and I need to exercise. It could be something like, have you got a pair of old jeans that used to fit but don't fit anymore? And that could be considered a motivator for them. So things like that, or it could be a wedding coming up, something like that. So pretty much, again, education, do your pros and cons, and find a new trigger, and help prep. So you need to prep them. Here, I know because don't forget, they're not confident, or they don't believe they can do it, so you've got to boost their belief that they can do it, and you've got to help them with what it looks like. Then we have the, what are we up to? Action stage? No, preparation stage.
Oh, yeah.
What could you do?
So I was sort of thinking you could encourage them to believe in themselves and stuff like that, so that they know that they can achieve what they're setting out to achieve, and to also find activities that they're able to do and feel comfortable doing. Because I know a lot of people who I'm like, oh, come on, we'll go do this sort of different activity, and they're like, oh, I'd feel a bit stupid doing that, or I don't know if I'm coordinated enough to do that. And I feel that would be a big factor if you suck at something to the point that you don't enjoy being there, then you're not going to keep going.
Yeah, you've got to design the program where they can master things. You don't want to set them up to fail, because as soon as they fail, they're going to lose motivation. So good point. James, have you got something to add?
Probably the only along similar lines, but just and it's along similar lines to what I said earlier about having a series of steps, and each, they might believe that they can't get to whatever you're trying to do, whether it be a time trial or a weight or something like that. Have little steps and make those little achievements big achievements, if that makes sense. Like, make a big deal out of those little achievements, and then they hopefully keep going, and then do another little achievement, and eventually, in theory, they'll get there.
Yeah. If they buy shoes, well done, great shoes. Geez, we're going to have great sessions with that. Any little thing that looks at promoting that behaviour and encourage it, you've got to encourage. I mean, if they've gone missing, and it usually in this stage is sporadic, they might go on a Monday and then you don't see them for a week, and then they show up on a Monday. Instead of honing on where have they been, you hone on, oh, great session last week, let's go again, let's do a really good session, so that you're feeding their self-belief rather than making them feel incompetent and lazy and whatever comes with that.
This is quite interesting. We're talking about, obviously, adults here in a gym setting. I coach preschool children sport, and we do a term at a time, and occasionally I'll talk to my staff about you can get a bit in the same routine, and I tell them about just trying to find the little things that a 3-year-old will do. Like, if we're doing a sport like cricket, just managing to hold the bat the right way is a massive achievement, and actually make that a big thing for them. And it's actually very similar to what we're doing for adults in a gym setting, but it's very similar. It's just make sure that a kid or an adult or a parent sees those little goals as a big goal.
Achievements. Well, that's it. That's behaviour change. If you look at Pavlov's dog, he trained the dog to press a button to get food. We're training somebody to be physically active and rewarding them. So the more we reward them, the more they're going to repeat the behaviour. The more we don't acknowledge that stuff, they'll go, well, don't really need to exercise. I don't get anything out of it. So completely agree. Kids are a funny ball game, those ones. Particularly the little bitty ballers, the little kids. It's about how do I make sure they're not fighting, not crying, and that they're physically active. All right, next stage is action. The big thing about this stage is the ability, more so the attractiveness of other tasks. So they're likely, there is a risk of relapse in this stage. What would you do with somebody in the action stage?
I'd be communicating on the go, seeking feedback, just to see if there's any indicator where they might be not enjoying it or waning, or the motivation is dropping. If we go back to the gym setting, if your workout is a bit of the same week in, week out, and even though they might be achieving targets, it might be a bit of a slow burn, so to speak. So constantly having a chat about this, have a look at their expressions, look for other triggers to maybe change it.
It's like, check in, hey, do you like this still? Do you want to change it up, and make sure that you're always touching base? Some actually like to do the same thing over and over again, so check out who you're working with, and it's just about catering the program. Chris, have you got any suggestions?
Yeah, so I added in there to set achievable goals as well, and to keep the activities fun but also challenging, because I know that if I'm not challenged by something, I get bored and get over it. So I guess that obviously depends on who you're with as well. But yeah, if you see that they're getting a bit bored of what they're doing, or if it's not hard enough, sort of up the difficulty a little bit to keep them engaged.
Pros outweigh the cons at this stage. So for you, it would be changing it up and setting goals. So the goal might now be not starting a program, but possibly doing a half marathon at the end of the year. So they do still need something to strive to, but the one thing you've got to worry about is the risk of relapse. So for you, check in with your client, make sure any, check for those things that could possibly interrupt their program. And then it's put strategies in place. One thing I would do is say, okay, well, we're entering the stage and we're regular now. What are some things that might stop you coming to the gym? Write on a list down and go, right, sweet, let's put some strategies in place. So when you get confronted with that, you're actually armed and ready to deal with it.
Could you ask some questions ask some questions to reconfirm those pros along the lines of, how are you feeling at work now that we've been doing this for 6 weeks? I know, after the first week, it's probably they're in pain, but, now that we've got that routine going, how are you feeling at work? How are you feeling at home? Do you feel like you've got more energy or something like that? Just to confirm those pros and that they can say to themselves, yes, I am doing the right thing here. I am on the right track.
There's no harm in I'd probably revisit the pros and cons until they get to termination, to maintenance. I'd still revisit it for those first 4 stages, just because 1, you'll get their headspace, 2, you'll go, I can identify barriers, and 3, you can put some strategies in. So absolutely. The last stage is termination. The next one before that is maintenance. This is all about variation, touching bases, new goals, new challenges, and communicating and reinforcing. That's what really needs to be done at this stage. They've adopted the behaviour, they're happy with it, but for them it's about changing it up and making sure they don't do the same thing, the same boring program year after year. And then when they get to the termination stage, they're exercising, so there's no need to have to encourage and shape that because they're doing it anyway. So they're no longer in the model. That's good, guys. That's good. Good strategies. You know what? I always look at this with don't forget, this is for any change of behaviour, quitting smoking, reducing sedentary activity, whatever it is. Have a look at what stage they're at. And that will help you best work with them, get their heads around it. Right, what else did we have this week?
Designing a program, I think.
Say that again, James?
Designing a program.
Oh, cool. What were some ideas? Think about the gyms that you've gone to and the strategies they've put in place to help increase participation and enjoyment.
First thing I thought of, which is probably not the role of the director of fitness, but it's just a full clean out of the place, just to make sure it's fresh, new, the windows are clean, the carpets are clean, the equipment doesn't have sweat stains on it and all those sort of things. That's the first thing.
Nothing more gross than going onto a machine that's dusty and disgusting and sweaty. I mean, even having a technique they put the spray cans with the paper towel so you can wipe down machines. Absolutely. Cleanliness and making sure the gym looks nice and presentable is very important. Okay, what else?
I sort of look to see how the trainers wherever you're coaching or whatever treat their clients.
Yep.
Because I imagine some clients would think that the hard-ass trainers aren't really for them and they need someone that's more encouraging, but other ones want to be whipped and put into line by their trainers. So maybe chat to the trainers and be like, look, you've got to understand the client's needs to keep them here.
Yeah, good. Check in, see the styles, make sure the styles match to the clients. Good. What else?
I had one at my gym, and I'm one of those. I do organised sport and love organised sport, but at the gym I don't get enough out of it. They'd put little challenges up.
What's your gym?
Beg your pardon?
What's your gym, James?
It's a local one called Paragon Fitness in Adelaide, but it's not a chain. But they had one where they had these exercise bikes which were logged into a network and see how many kilometres you could ride in a month. So you had to come back over and over again, and there was a top 10 leaderboard. We had a few on the rowing machine, how far you can ride in 500, how fast you can do 500 metres on the rowing machine, a few things like that to get someone to go, look, I'll give it a go. And then, like always, you try and beat yourself and those sort of things. They work quite well, especially for someone like myself. Yeah,
particularly when you're in the maintenance and termination stage, you need those motivating things. I'm at Fitness First, and they do have like how many push-ups can you do for the week and that kind of stuff, and you get prizes, and sometimes the prizes that are as simple as like a Fitness First bag or a towel, but again, it's still encouraging fitness behaviour, so it's brilliant. All right, what else?
Like always, chatting to the members, just ones that either ones that have been going regularly and you notice haven't been there, and giving them a call and go, is there anything we can help with? Or the ones that have been there and just go, have you noticed anything? Has people been talking? Or is there anything that you would like that's different in this place?
Yeah, why not have a suggestion box at the front of the gym that you can fill out and put some things in? I know some gyms text people when they haven't seen them for a week and say, "Oh, just letting you know, I haven't seen you for a bit." There's so many ways. I've got women-only sections, although I get pretty pissed off at the women-only sections that they have old equipment and it's all like the ones that the main gym doesn't use anymore, or they put it in a room where there's no ventilation and they shove you in a corner. But hence why I go work out with everybody else. But there's the creche, the childcare. Some gyms have half price membership. So if you recommend somebody and they then begin, your membership halves, or you get something like an iPad or an iPod. Or James, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say this is social things. I mean, I've seen it around. It hasn't worked for me, but it does work for some. Just, you know, maybe once a month they have a coffee, like a coffee session where everyone just gathers for coffee or a couple of drinks at a pub nearby or something like that, just to keep that community focus. And you gain some friends, and then you're more likely to come back over and over again.
Yeah, boot camps, which are a group thing. They have group classes, they have group challenges. Like, there's so many things. You know what? I wish I had a gym. I'd love a gym, and that you create it. I mean, I'll have the sports-like stuff going on. My brother's a personal trainer and strength and conditioning. You know, it'd just be so much fun because I watch gyms do things. Some of them do it so wrong, and you just go, or they charge. I just realised I'm paying $50 a fortnight. I'm just like, what am I doing? When the students were telling me what they're paying, I'm like, you know, you just can't be bothered. You know why? I don't want to do the exit interview. I just head in. So they don't let you leave without doing an exit interview, and then it's just painful. But the other things, 24-hour gyms. You can do a passport gym where you can access it anywhere in Australia or around the world. Brilliant, like such a good job. I mean, it doesn't really matter what location you go to. If you're paying a membership for an institution, you should be able to access it all.
I have a theory on gyms. I reckon gyms have to know what sort of gym they are. Because there is a lot of types of gyms. You could be a mixed martial arts gym. You could be a very family-friendly gym. You could be a 24-hour gym. You could be a
women's only.
Yeah, there's some that want to do it all, but then they lose focus on certain areas. And I reckon if you know what you want to be and you focus purely on that area, you'll be more successful. Yes, you might not have. You might not have, say, women going to a mixed martial arts gym, but you do it right, and you'd get more of those people in that thing. Or if you have a gym that does a lot of classes, like RPMs and step up, all those sort of ones, you might not get as many of the really weightlifting types, but you've done that part right, and you get more in there.
No, completely agree. You know what? What's your niche market? Name it towards that. Because whatever the market is, regardless whether it's in your local area, I'm sure if it is martial arts, and even if you're not in the area, you're going to come there. Particularly if you target and specialise in that. Yeah. I agree. I think you do a gym really well as long as you understand the target population you're after, or that you're catering for, and what you put forth for them. So, well done, guys. Did anybody want to say anything else about that?
No, so just double checking on the assignment that we're doing in the group. So Chris, Ashley, and I were initially going to chat on Facebook. So you prefer now that to be in that email thread so you can see it all?
The only reason why I say that, I guess any stuff, so you can Facebook chat, that's cool. When you send any emails like documents or work, it'd just be good to leave me in your thread. I could give you my ACPE Facebook, but I never access it. Just because I then can say, Chris, where have you gone? Like your group is asking for things and you're not there. So maybe use Facebook chat as an immediate thing to contact people, but anything to do with splitting the work, put it on email for me so you've got written evidence.
I can work with that.
Or take a picture of your communication on your Facebook, send those to me.
If we have any issues.
Yeah, I just want to protect you guys from being in a group where individuals go missing.
Understandable.
The last little bit was just about preventing relapse, but there's a lecture slide on that. It's about replace shoulds with wants, plan for it, don't treat a relapse as a catastrophe. So you've got those ideas there. But well done, you two, as usual. Such a small group. There's about 11 of us, but it's just us three all the time. So you know, you've got my email, you've got my mobile. Keep working through the course. If you're having any troubles with anything?
Can I just ask a quick question? I went to look at the lecture this morning, and it says that I need to request access to view it.
Can you try? No, it's just what happens is because I've relocated the information into your course from an older course, it's saying it needs to link it. Can you try it now for me, Chris? Because we must fix that today.
No, you're right. I'll have a look.
I think sometimes there's two different sections and you click on it. Like there's one way to click on the lecture recording and it says access, and you click on the other version, it just gives you access.
Is that on the bottom?
Yes.
I'll share my screen. Tell me how you go, Chris. I'm just going to pull it up. Yeah, so I'm trying to put it at the bottom so you don't have... So there's this way, Chris, where you get to click the lecture notes there?
Yep.
Does that not work?
No, so the lecture notes work, not the lecture itself.
Oh.
The recording.
Yeah, the lecture recording doesn't seem to want to work.
Oh, that's last week's. You mean this week's? Hang on.
Yes, yeah. This week's week 5's one.
I'll put me to a student. Okay. I don't know then, Chris. You know where it is too? Try and click. So here is all the lectures recorded already. So if those links don't work, then it'll be, I think it's this one, week 5. So you can click through there and they, or maybe not, they should definitely work.
All right, too easy.
So this one, the 6th and the 4th, you should be about leadership. Yeah.
Cool, yeah, if I can't get it to work, I'll just email you, that's fine.
Flick me an email about the lecture in week 6 and then I'm going to forward it straight to IT and get that sorted.
Too easy.
But you guys are doing great. Oh, no. Oh, God, I thought I lost you because I keep closing things. Okay. Any other questions?
I've designed the communication activity. I haven't watched the recording yet, but for the lecture, but it just says, was there anything, because I've seen the lecture notes, it didn't seem to give me any indication on what you mean by designing a communication activity. Is there any guidelines?
No, I want you to be as creative as possible. All I want you to do, though, is sort of say, okay, I'm going to design a communication activity that concentrates on being assertive. I'm going to do a communication activity so they can be self-aware of, like, have you ever done the one where one person faces one way and the other one faces the opposite way, and this person has a picture in front of them and they've got to describe to that person what it is? So the key point of that is to realise that regardless whether you think you're sending a great message, a clear information and details, people interpret it differently. So I don't care what activity you do, but just think of some activities that you've done that, because in class we actually play it, but we don't get to play it. So I just wanted you to be creative, and then you can share with each other some communication games, like Two Truths and a Lie, which is a get-to-know-you game, but it involves communication. Those kind of things. All right, guys?
Thanks very
All
much.
good?
All good.
Yep, cool. Thank you very much.
I'll see you next week.
Too easy.
Thank
See you
you.
then.
See you later, guys.
See ya.